Hi.
Good afternoon. Welcome back.
Day.
Welcome back to Bootcamp. It's hump day today. Whoop whoop.
It feels like hump day as well.
Why does it feel like hump day?
Just because everything's been hard this morning. This is like my joyous escape right now.
Joyous escape. Well, do you know what? Isn't it lovely that this is your joyous escape?
It is. Definitely.
What a nice, lovely place to escape to.
Yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. I can see you gradually starting to join us. So please do say hello and let us know that you are here. Hi, Caroline. The puppies are warmed and bathed, brew made, all ready for workshop 2. I am loving your chirpiness today. Good morning to you all, lovely Bootcamp ladies, is what Caroline says. Ruth's on her lunch break. Yay! Making sure that she takes a break from now on. No more working through. Delighted to have that. Jessica's here too.
Fabulous.
Loved last night. We are so
last night was great.
It was a lot. Do you know what? I always expect the workshops to be better than the Q&A coaching calls, but it was brilliant last night.
I know.
Who's this?
Tracy Cooper. Press the link thing. You. Tracy sent a lovely message for answering one of her questions last night.
Oh, did she? Good. I'm glad she managed to see it then. That's good. Hey, Nicola.
Hi,
nice
Nicola.
Again.
Hey, Alana.
Kim Beardsley's over on the live stream page as well.
Hi, Kim.
Cool. It's lovely to see so many of you back. Wednesday. So we're in the middle of the week today. Oh, Keely's on as well. She's saying afternoon. Phone's off. She is ready for this. Good.
Katie's here.
Where's Katie? Oh, there's Kate.
Hi.
Hi. Lovely to see you all. So yes, today is workshop 2. We started out Monday with workshop 1, did a bit of coaching yesterday, workshop 2 today. So we're going to get things underway. Now, obviously, Monday was quite an intense workshop. We spent quite a bit of time telling you a little bit about us, but you've had the chance to get to know us a little bit more now. So we're going to get into the content a little bit faster today, which also means that we might fit in your lunch break. I say might. I'm not going to guarantee it because
we talk too much.
So we'll see. We will be a little bit neater than last time, I would say. Yeah, even Karen's saying just in time for lunch. Phew. So that's good.
The last user was Pam. Hi, Pam.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Hey, Pam. Right, let's get things underway then. So, yes, as I say, we are back for workshop 2 today. You can all see my screen now, can't you?
Yeah.
Is that working? Yeah. Excellent. So, today, let me get hold of my slides. I'm just having to think about things now. It's giving me a colourful wheel instead of doing what I asked it to do. Hey. We're off. So just as a recap, because I know that quite often people don't get to find out about Bootcamp until we've started. And
we've had loads more people join since after workshop 1.
We have, haven't we?
Yeah.
Lots more. Plus, those of you that enjoy workshop 1 and enjoy the coaching then want to invite your friends, which is great. I had a couple of messages saying, oh, is it all right if I invite your friends in? Absolutely.
Yes, please.
Invite your friends because everybody can catch up on the replays. It's no problem at all. So if you are new today, then an extra special hello. We're Jodes and Roxy. You can see who's who here on the screen. We are in the business of helping women who want more from life. So that's our little hashtag that we like to live by. If you want to know the in-depth details and the story of all about us, then head over to workshop 1 and catch up on that, and you'll get all of the juicy gossip and the backstory of where we have come from. But yes, big hello if you are new to us today. And we wanted to take the opportunity before we get into today to say, wow, just wow, you guys are absolutely smashing it. Well done. I have been we've both been blown away, not just me, in just how many light bulb moments people have been having, seeing you do the work wholeheartedly. You know, no one's been pissing about with this homework.
Really
no one's
haven't.
been, you know, quite literally as a paper exercise. And we do, you know, when you put pictures of your homework into the group, we do click on the pictures and read what you've put. So it's brilliant. And actually, we've poked a few of you a little bit hard. So that's not specific enough. Do a bit more work on that. So that's precisely what we asked you to do when we met you on Monday, was to say, show up, go all in, pretend that you've paid for this boot camp. I think I said, did I say £1,000?
You did. It's well worth that.
On this, because if you do the work and you see the progress, then you will see the progress. I'm loving that you're not hiding, you're not lurking, you're putting yourself out there. And I hope we are demonstrating that we have got you. Did you pick out a couple of light bulb moments, actually?
I've got loads. I think is it the next slide anyway that we're going to go through it.
I've been sharing a few on our stories, obviously minus people's names, because didn't want to just assume that you were happy to be advertised. But yeah, what have you picked out today?
I think the next slide does it. You'll skip me. So I was waiting for my well-earned cue here. Yeah. Look how smooth we are. If you haven't told us yet, by the way, tell us in the chat now what's been your biggest light bulb moment. I guess the workshop won all of the coaching call last night, because I've seen a few more come from there. So I just went through the first few because we had tons. So Katie said that working out that her needs were actually her wants, and it was stuff that she could live without, was her light bulb moment. Louisa said that she's realizing she can actually say what she wants and not what she doesn't want. And it was a light bulb to realize how hard that was for her to flip that round. Yeah. She also realized how insignificant she feels and recognized it's up to her to kind of determine how to change that and what significant actually means. Lisa, this was one of my favorites because it directly related to something I'd said, was that it's okay to be flighty, and that when you're not enjoying something or when it doesn't feel right, that it's totally okay to walk away. And I love that one. Ruth has been recognizing her pushbacks. Really important. You talked loads about that, and we've had quite a few light bulb moments about pushbacks.
Yeah.
Caroline was the opposite of Katie. So Caroline was realizing that some of the things she thought were wants are actually needs. So this whole idea of uncertainty and variety was really important. She also realised that she always has a choice, and that what someone thinks of her is none of her business.
Yeah.
Alana was talking about it's okay to put herself first and to not feel guilty. Becky was exactly the same as Alana, but also more about pushbacks and more about what people think of her as none of her business. And Mireille realised she's lived most of her life for someone else. But we had many, many more. I could have been writing all day. We've loved reading them. And they're all along a really similar thread. So that's great to know.
Yeah, it definitely warms the cockles of our heart to see, you know, it absolutely kind of bangs our why button, doesn't it, when we see light bulb moments like that. So delighted with the impact that it's been having on you. A couple have come in while you've been chatting through them there. Raja said, not to take meaning from other people's comments. It's going to be a light bulb moment for her. Great one. This one here off Jessica that I can share on the screen.
You can, but Jessica, you're masturbating. You don't need to forget. You can choose to let it go. You don't need to.
Yes, absolutely.
But absolutely right.
Yeah, definitely. Well done. I'm delighted to see those. We'll be sharing some more of them again on Friday. So you'll have the opportunity again after today to share any light bulbs from today too. So you can keep going with these. You can keep going.
Definitely. And they all get you an entry into the competition.
Mm-hmm. Which is precisely what we're talking about now.
There we go. Yeah. So there's a competition running at the moment. You get entries for posting your homework. We want to see you going all in. So you get entries for posting your homework and entries for doing light bulb moments and entries for sharing and tagging stuff with us in all over your socials. Our main prize is an annual membership to the club worth £340. So you can come and hang out with us for a year and work on all the stuff that you want to work on. There are some on the spot prizes. I have put one in for something I'm going to do an on-the-spot prize for tonight. So when you get your email at 2:00 today about the coaching call tonight, if you show up on that, there will be an on-the-spot prize that Jodie is looking blank at because she doesn't know about it.
She's sneaking new ones on me, but that's fine. I'm all cool with that. I think there's many deserved people of on-the-spot prizes right now.
Yep. So do your stuff. It's so worth it.
Yeah. Right. Good. Okay. So prizes. Where we're up to in terms of the jam plan. So on Monday, workshop 1, if you're just catching up, we were talking all about how to figure out what you want and need to live the happy, fulfilling and successful life you deserve. So hopefully you're making progress on that. Last night, we had coaching clinic number 1, where we were answering your questions, which was just brilliant. So today we're on workshop 2. So today we are going to be focusing on the common New Year's resolution fails that women tend to make and how you can avoid them to make sure that they don't happen to you. You've probably experienced some of them in the past anyway. And then just to signpost where we're going over the next couple of days, Thursday, we'll be back tomorrow evening with coaching clinic number 2. So you get a second opportunity, especially after going through today's content, to ask any more questions, get some more advice on things. And then on Friday at lunchtime, we'll be doing workshop 3, which will be the secret to designing the life you love, how to take action around that, and most importantly, make it stick. But kind of like the best bit really is the celebration, the shout outs, dishing out some prizes, announcing our big prize winner, and we will have something very special up our sleeve for you. And actually showing up live on Friday will mean you get an extra opportunity to anybody who shows up on the replay. So there is, you know, if you're one of those people that want to get in on the hot stuff, then being live on Friday is going to be a bit of a must. All right. That's where we are in the setup for the week. So when we were on workshop 1, where we should kind of arrive at by now is getting over any limiting beliefs, shifting our mindset around this notion that we can have it all. It's important to work on defining what your role is. It's not about keeping up the Joneses. Remember the hashtags, and that we screw other people's expectations. But that ultimately, I hope what's coming through all of this for you is that it always, always, always starts with mindset. Light bulb moment for a few of you, but by now we are super clear on the difference between what are our needs and what are our wants. And with our needs, are we meeting them healthily? Or at the moment, might we be doing that a little bit unhealthily and decide to make some changes about that? And figuring out what we want using 4 Ps. So sensing where there's some pushback for us. You know, what are we complaining and griping about, even if that means we're muttering it under our own breath? Or where we're feeling resentment. They're often the indicators that says you've got a bit of pushback. And then opening those up to possibility, figuring out where the preference is in some of those, and then pinpointing with clarity exactly what we want, i.e. I'd like some boiled eggs, please, boiled for precisely 3 minutes, and a dash of salt, no pepper, but 5 chili flakes on each one. Thank you very much. And remember, you've always got a choice. Always, always, always you get to choose. So by now you'll have been doing some work on defining your all, which we've been seeing lots and lots of progress on. So that is absolutely fandabby-dozy. So let's get down and dirty to the important stuff.
I've swallowed my tea down the wrong way and I'm choking.
Are you choking? Are you all right? Should be all right in a minute. We should be all right.
So.
Do you need one of them Heineck? Is it a Heineck manoeuvre or something?
I'm lit, but no. But I can't fit in a hospital because there's no space, so I'll just die quietly here.
Well, you've always got a choice, remember. You could call for Tom.
Could. You won't hear me, but I could. Anyway, just on my death door, I'll run through these kind of things, shall I?
That'd be good. That'd be good if you don't mind.
I don't mind. We're all right. And Sophie has no need to apologise when she's putting a toddler down. Everyone who's trying to do all of this around kiddies, I know this feeling.
And Becky,
all right,
Becky doesn't need to be sorry for being late. That's absolutely
not a problem. Yeah, cool. So here's a list. You can read through this as I go, and I'm going to talk a heck of a lot more about these. But just as a kind of starting point, have a little notice, and I'd love to see for you guys which ones or ones of these really feel like you. I've really lost my train of thought now. I'm choking and dying. Which are the things that resonate with you, that you know these happen when you set your goals? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go through them, but I'd love to just, even if you just put the numbers down in the chat, just so that we can kind of see which ones are people's nemesis. Is that word, nemesis? Like the plural of nemesis.
Tend to be a little bit more prevalent for people.
Yeah. So the first fail that we often make, and this is like, it feels so broad, but it's so all-encompassing, is that you don't believe in yourself. Number 6. I can't see what number 6 is now because it's covered up. Thinking and planning. Ooh, I'll talk about that. Another thinking and planning. Right. Number 1, you don't believe in yourself. And all of this will go back to what we were talking about yesterday, is that all your decisions are made in your mind. All your decisions are made in your mind before anything happens. So this idea of not believing in yourself is really important to recognize that that's made in your mind. Your opinions of yourself or the opinions other people give of you are not fact. They're just opinions. And this idea of believing yourself, it's really important to recognize that growth and learning to do this takes time. This is not just a thing that you'll wake up tomorrow. You might have a better idea of how to go forward from it. Oh, I can't wait to get to 6 because we do this. Yeah, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and suddenly decide, I believe in myself. But hey, you believed in Father Christmas for many, many years. I'm pretty sure you can believe in yourself for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and just so you know, we've got a T-shirt with that on. We sell a T-shirt with that on if you want one.
We sell T-shirts with lots of them. So this idea of fear, that you don't believe in yourself, recognize fear can't stop you. It's just an emotion. The fear of failing, and so which leads into the not believing yourself, that's just an emotion. That is not a fact. That is not something that is relevant to the decisions you're making about whether you choose to believe in yourself or not. And something that comes up over and over again is when you don't believe in yourself, you kind of prove that right. So you'll decide to do something half-heartedly, fail. You're creating that whole self-fulfilling prophecy. You're creating that whole cycle where you say, yeah, I knew I'd fail. But you'd already told yourself you were going to fail before you started, and you just end up in that circle. So it's really important to recognise you're capable of restarting at any time. You didn't believe in yourself last week. You could decide to believe in yourself today. This is not a do or don't situation. It's that I didn't, and now I can change my mind again whenever I want because I've always got that choice.
There was something actually on this one that, you know, when you were just talking then about you end up proving yourself right, and it's that self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah. It's like, I remember knowing that and going, yeah, I'm not sure that I can do something with that. I investigated it, and you work loads with these, don't you? It was about understanding that there was a physical cognitive bias that was playing out for me. Right. So the revelation for me was to understand that there are hundreds of cognitive biases that are happening for us all constantly. One of them being, one of the common ones that happens all the time, being confirmation bias, this one. And confirmation bias is really basically that whatever we believe, our brain will go looking actively for evidence to go, see, you were right. Because humans like to be right. The human brain likes to be told it's right. And it will always find that evidence. And it's a sneaky little bugger, isn't it? Because without telling your conscious mind, it disregards any evidence to the contrary. Yep. So anything that challenges your belief, you don't see it. It's as if it doesn't exist. So once I got that, I was like, that's a mechanical kind of process that's going on in here, and I can change that. I can change that because when I see the evidence, I can go, yeah, but my brain's just choosing to look for that. Now, Jodie, go and challenge yourself to find some evidence to the contrary. And when I did that consciously, then I would find stuff to prove myself wrong. And I was like, oh, good, right, okay. I'm all right with that now.
And that, you'll hear us say that a lot of time, what's your evidence? Whenever we hear people telling themselves stories, we talked about this quite a lot last night, whenever we hear you telling yourself a story, we will challenge you with what's the evidence? Because a lot of the time, you're only focusing on what you're looking for rather than broadening that out to say, what is actually the truth here? Yeah? So that you don't believe in yourself.
Let me share a couple of people's from the live stream, because I've said I can't put them on the screen. So back to the beginning. Kim said number 7 is a big one for her. Caroline said all of them so much.
Okay.
Maddie went for 1, 5, 6, and 7. Ruth went for 1 and 4. And then Caroline's also commented saying, I tend to make unrealistic or unachievable goals to set myself up for failure.
Yeah.
So just so we've got them in. Cool.
Yeah. Nicola saying confirmation bias, she's done that loads. Yeah. And even overriding all of that, our brains have a natural negative bias. It comes from our own limbic system brain, and it's the idea that that's what saved us. That's how evolution has happened, is that we are naturally negative, because in the olden days, we had to assume that everything was out to get us. Everything was trying to kill us. A little rustle in the grass was a snake coming to kill us. So we naturally jumped to negative.
I still think that.
You what?
I still think that every rustle in the grass is a snake coming to get me.
No. But we can't override that to some degree. That is our natural, it's like our reptilian brain that's still there. And so we've grown as a society, we've grown as people, and our brains have evolved over the top of that. But our core behavior is still driven by that part of our brain. So we naturally assume everything is negative. So if someone looks at us in the street, we naturally immediately jump to some kind of, why are they looking at me? I've got something on my face, rather than they just noticed me, they just liked my coat. We have that natural negative bias that overrides everything. And so you will be fighting that all your life.
It's like, oh no, is my skirt tucked in my knickers, or have I got toilet rolls tucked in my shoe?
Yeah, what's wrong with me? Immediately. So what's wrong with me? Rather than just, they looked at me, we jumped to a conclusion that didn't even exist. The
story. I remember that happening to me once. I was looking at this woman. I think I was sat like outside in a coffee shop having a coffee, and I saw this woman, and I was proper looking at her, and she stopped and challenged me, and she was like, "What the fuck are you looking at?" And I proper, when it catches you, and I was like, "Oh," went really red, and I was like, well, actually, I thought you looked really beautiful, and I was admiring like the dress that you've got on. And she was like, oh, right, well, thank you. And I was genuinely, I was like, oh my God, she looks amazing in that. And when somebody really catches your eye, and she was, I was just in awe a little bit, but then I felt really embarrassed. Yeah. And I hope she ended up feeling embarrassed. And it when I say it taught her a lesson, not in a, I hope that taught you a lesson. But I hope then she thought, oh, actually, maybe I'll think twice now about whether people are saying nasty things about me.
Well, and that says so much about her own insecurities of believing that people were thinking nasty stuff around her. So, our brain biases are, crazy. And that's a huge part of not believing in yourself. Yeah? Okay, so another reason people fail, your goals are not specific enough. And God, if I have to hear about SMART goals one more time from every bit of corporate, but there's a reason, I know, but there is a specific reason that they are there. You don't have to lay them out like they do in corporate, but all of those parts of a SMART goal are important. They work for a reason. So if you don't know what a SMART goal is, it's an acronym. So it's kind of specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timed. And a good goal kind of has to hit most or all of those things. It has to be able to be broken down. Because if it's not, well, you're talking about lifestyle changes, and they are really, really different to goals. So if you're setting yourself a New Year's resolution goal that's like, I want to be happy, or I want to be healthier, how can you achieve that? What's the tick off point where you're like, yeah, I've done that? Because there's no measure around that. Your goal's not specific enough. One of mine, I remember years ago, was like, I want to be a better mum. What the fuck does that mean? Well, how can I decide that I've specifically achieved that this month? So today,
that's why we've been kind of quite nudgy around some of, when you've been doing your homework around your all and writing some of your wants and needs down, is, so I've seen examples that are similar to what Roxy's just said there. I want to be more healthy.
Yeah, that's all
like what?
Yeah. So it's making sure when you are setting goals that you are setting really specific goals. They will feed into that whole, I might want my whole lifestyle change to be like eminently healthier, but you can't set that as your goal because you can't know that you've reached it. It can't be a milestone that you can almost check off. So it might be that your goals are striving towards that bigger change, but your goals have to be specific and measurable, and often that whole putting them in a time frame means you've got something to work towards. SMART goals are useful. That's not to say I love them. I mean, I don't know. Have you got an opinion on SMART goals, Jones? Because I imagine you had a lot.
Only in the sense that because of its acronym, I think people, as soon as you put a model around something, it switches people off, or they get blindsided by the structure and the process of the model, rather than just getting into setting a really flipping decent goal. So I think, yes, it does need all those components. Know that, and then let go of the model. Is kind of where I go with it. Do you remember? Was it on last week's Fuck It Friday? I'm trying to remember where this was, where we ended up having a bit of a chinwag and a debate about people, whether they were into New Year's resolutions or not, and everyone was like, "No, I want goals, not resolutions." So I googled what a resolution was, and actually, it turned out that most of the time we're getting hung up on the societal label and some of the norms around that, when actually a resolution is an absolute commitment to do something. So, it's just interesting, isn't it?
And we end up cutting off our nose to spite our face by saying, no, I don't do New Year's resolutions. Because what you're saying is, I don't want to buy into the pressure to change my life or the pressure to set goals. But actually, if you're not setting goals, that's totally fine. But if you're not setting goals as a thing, then you're not going to ever be moving forward towards creating a designed better life. Because we can all float along happily, but rarely just floating along get us where we actually would like to be. See, intentions are great, but unless there's action, and we'll talk about this in a bit, unless there's action behind the intention, that is just a dream. It's just a plan again. But I'll talk about that when we get to it. So number 3, the third fail is, you know what you want, but not why you want it. And this one, I don't think we've ever had a member that's come into our lounge that actually says, I know my why. I know why I'm doing this. Because our why is we're never taught to kind of look for this. We're kind of expected to know what we want to do. We might have a vague idea why. We want a bit of freedom, or we want more money. But that's not the why that generally drives you to do stuff. And your why is your driver for everything. So get it kind of specific. We've got a whole module in the club around working out your why. And when you've got a really clear and strong purpose in your life, and you feel like you love what you do, it's really easy to do it consistently. Like our why for running the club is really clear. It's we want to watch women grow, and that's our why behind all the stuff we do. That's the why behind we're doing this whole week, is we love watching women grow. That really fulfills us. We know we're good at what we do, and it becomes something we enjoy doing. This isn't just work. We don't just do it to get us by. We have a much bigger driver than that, but not many people know their why.
And the why has to be deep enough that when it's pissing down outside and it's freezing and you really can't be asked to get out of the bed, it's got to be a big enough driver to make you get out of the bed. So some days I might think, I've got back-to-back coaching clients or Zoom meetings or blah, blah, blah today, and I'd want to bury my head under the duvet. but because I can take that back to my why that says, I want to leave a legacy behind and role model to 3 daughters how to be a strong, independent woman. And I want to challenge the equality agenda in this world. Right, Jodie, get out of the bed. It's a bigger purpose to make you want to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, and like the why I've just said is like I've had a horrific morning homeschooling. It's been all dramatic, but I couldn't wait to come out here to do this. So a lot of the time, if you were going to work after having a horrific morning, you're kind of like, oh, I don't want to go to work now. I just want to stay in my pajamas. But for me, bouncing down my garden, it's like, oh, I can't wait to come and do this because I can't wait to see who I get to talk to and who I get to share stuff with.
Yeah.
Your why is so important, and that's why a lot of resolutions fail, because you know what you want but not why you want it, and so your why doesn't drive you. Okay. Have we got any comments in the live chat?
So Ruth had said she hadn't heard of SMART goals. That's great. You've learned something new today. And how does she join in with Fuck It Friday? It's live in this group every Friday lunchtime. So
not where you are in the free Facebook group.
Oh yeah, in the free Facebook group or just on our page.
Yeah, on a Friday at lunch, usually 12:31, whenever we decide, really. But we let you know. We don't just let you guess. Okay, so the 4th reason that New Year's resolutions fail is, I like this one, that you're treating a marathon like a sprint, or you've bitten off more than you can chew. Who does this all the freaking time? On the 1st of January, I am going to drink all my water. I'm going to start couch to 5K. I'm going to only eat fruit and veg for a week. Who starts off with like a massive, huge goal that suddenly you think, because the date's changed, you're totally capable of achieving this now? Or who sets themselves unrealistic goals by the end of January? I'm going to have lost 4 stone. It's that idea that change takes time, and we're in a bit of a life of instant gratification. We want everything and we want it now. If I want to watch a film, I expect to be able to search the numerous subscriptions I've got and find the freaking film. If it wasn't there, I'd be having like a kind of fit about, why can't I watch this now? We live in that society where we want to see the overnight success. We aspire to be an overnight success, and we see them on our feeds, and we see them in what is pretending to be real life, and we kind of want to be like that, but it doesn't exist. And if it did exist, it doesn't last. These kind of high pressure, quick intensity stuff, it's not sustainable. It doesn't make lasting change. I've just seen Becky's comment, and it doesn't have any kind of longevity. Like, working on yourself is everything, but every time you get down another layer, you find another thing that you kind of have to look at to be able to work on again. And so it's the idea that trying to do things quickly and expecting them to stick just does not work, because there's more to it. There's always more to it. And part of this comes back to recognizing limiting beliefs a lot of the time. So until you do that, you often fail at some of your goals. So if I have a goal to get healthier, so this was a limiting belief I tackled not that long ago, probably only a few months ago, was this idea that, so I know my portion sizes can be horrific, and I love food, I adore food, but I know my portion size can be as big as my husband. What I didn't realize is that I also have this limiting belief idea that comes from my kids, that my childhood, that it's kind of a value that I had to eat everything on my plate. So we were skint when I was little. I'm from a proper mining family. You ate everything on your plate. We couldn't afford a lot of stuff. So I was still stuck in that psychological thing. So not only would I pile too much food on my plate, I would also then, even if I was full, be forcing myself to eat it, because I'm stuck on an old kind of value, an old belief that didn't serve me anymore. So when you're trying to make so many changes, if you haven't taken that time to figure out how am I kind of sabotaging myself along the way, it's just not possible. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of gone way off topic there, but they all link. It's like I'm trying to make a massive change. I'm trying to cut my portion size, or I'm trying to be more mindful about something, but I've got something that's making me do something that directly contradicts what I'm trying to do in the first place. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. I think the thing with, the marathon and the sprint bit is we go off at full pelt, and you can only sustain going at something hell for leather for a short period of time. I did it. One New Year, decided that was it. I'm not having any more sugar. I'm going sugar free.
Oh, yeah.
From the 1st of January, and I'm quite a sugary, sweet person. And literally, I felt like I'd just given up heroin. It was that bad.
Yeah.
The headaches, I could hardly walk. My head was pounding that much. I think I made it to about 2.5 weeks in. And then I was like, oh, sod this. You just burn out too quickly. Yeah. Too much, too soon, burn out. And that's why people drop off in it.
Yeah, it stops, it's sticky, it's just not sustainable. Yeah.
Ruth and Maddie are having a good laugh about fake book and Instasham. Although I would say, actually, if you don't want to watch in Facebook, it'll also broadcast on YouTube. We just don't promote ourselves on YouTube, but it does broadcast live on YouTube as well.
Yeah. And also, it's not all fake book. Look, we are as genuine as we can be, and we're right on there. It just depends who you're following.
Yeah.
I think as soon as I noticed what I was doing, Jenna, and realised this is a really old belief now. I am not in the situation where I am too poor to kind of like where my dad worked 12-hour shifts to put that food on my table. Once I recognised I'm not in that same place that belief belongs to, it became really, really easy. But I think it was just one of those things that until I noticed what I was doing, and I was thinking, I was literally eating a curry, as I remember it, that Tom had cooked. So I'm like, ramming my last 2 forkfuls in, and I'm like scraping every bit of rice off my plate, full to busting. And I'm thinking, why am I doing this? And it just becomes one of those things. When it comes to light, it's easy to drop, but only when you kind of recognise it, I think. Yeah. So anyway, that's totally off on one.
Yeah.
So the reasons to fail number 5 is you haven't found ways to enjoy the process. This is one that often relates to exercise. It often relates to diet, which are typical New Year resolutions. That you're trying to do something the way other people are doing it, or the way that you've been told to do it. So you've got to join Slimming World. Whatever it is there are different ways. You can go to a pole dancing class or an aerial acrobatic class. There are more fun and different ways to kind of go through a process than the ones that your friends are doing, you've done in the past. Because if you've done it in the past and you didn't enjoy it, you're probably not going to enjoy it now. So and a lot of people don't recognise they could find a different way. You can kind of you can do it find different people to do it with, get it as part of your socialising. Just really look at what have I been doing before that's not worked, and what bit of that would I enjoy. Go outdoor swimming, go do something that is different. Yeah.
We had an interesting conversation about this one, didn't we?
I don't remember, but I will when you start talking.
I think we actually had a bit of an argument about it.
That's why I don't remember. I've blocked that out of my mind.
Yeah, because we were talking about exercise and like how enjoying the process for some people can just be really difficult, but because they're confined by those typical expectations of how to do things, and and actually I think when we got to it was with exercise, you were like, there is no way I will find a process that I will enjoy. And actually it was more about, well, I don't have to do the exercise if I don't want to. Even that, I don't have to conform with that.
Yeah.
Never mind the process. I don't even have to conform with doing something about that.
Yeah, because I still stand by that. I have not at this point found any exercise that I enjoy. But yeah, I take exercise as an objective off my plate. I'll do walking, which I can just about enjoy depending who I do it with. But yeah, I have not found an exercise that I enjoy. So there's no point me setting a target or a goal around that, because I've already, goes back to kind of believe yourself, I've already decided I'm not going to achieve that because I don't like it. And until that day comes when I decide, actually, maybe I will this time, I will look for something different. But right now, my mind is closed off to that. So I'm never, ever going to achieve it because I already know that I don't want to. Yeah.
I think the eating everything on your plate things really resonated with loads of people. Keely said something similar on the live stream page. She did eat everything on a plate. That was the thing for her. So what she did was started using a smaller plate because it controls her portions and keeps her brain at ease.
Yeah, clever. Yeah, it's funny how you just land on something that's not even related to what we're talking about. But that's the stuff that sabotages us a lot of the time, and starting to recognise I can uncover my old beliefs and values. That changes things. Okay, so number 6, who likes stationery? Like, we're the worst people for this, and this idea of I can plan till the cows come home. However, you will hear us talk over and over and over and over about that planning without action, fucking pointless. Now, action without planning, also not good. These both have a place, but doing your planning and kind of predicting how your year is going to go, and we do a big, huge plan for our business in November. It's like setting the sat nav in your car and then sitting on your drive and looking at your sat nav and wondering why you're not getting anywhere. The sat nav is not going to take you where you want to go unless you decide to drive that freaking car. I love planning. I'm not ever going to say, please don't plan. It's got its really, really useful place, but you've got to take action. You cannot set a New Year's resolution. You can have in your Google Calendar that you're going to get up and do exercise on all these days. If you don't get out of bed, not a plan. You will fail over and over again.
So this one seems like it's quite common for a lot of people. A lot of people have said number 6. I think as well there are also a second group of people who think they are doing, but they're not. They're actually almost
faffing around the doing.
Yeah, in the faff zone, busying themselves with almost trivial planning-y things, and they convince themselves that that's doing.
And we all do that. Like, I absolutely can sit down and think, I don't know where my afternoon went or my morning went. I know I have not stopped, but I haven't achieved anything. And it's that filling our gaps, and actually even more so for people who are homeschooling right now, because you don't get the space and time to concentrate. You end up doing the faffy jobs, feeling like you're doing something, but you're not moving forwards. And yeah, that absolutely ties in. Who's a queen faffer? Tracy Cooper. Yes, yes, Tracy. Tracy's on with a beautiful vision board on her wall. But yeah, what are you doing? So yeah, too much planning, too much thinking, even thinking about doing. There's certain times I'm sat on the settee thinking, I'll do that when clock gets to 3 o'clock. And then it gets to 3 o'clock and I'm like, I'll do it at 5 past. And I'll think about doing stuff, but if you're not doing it, you are sat on your drive with the sat nav on. Totally pointless. Mega reason why we fail. Yeah. And also when we're planning, we kind of get carried away in the planning, and our plan gets so kind of big and full that we're then exhausted from planning that we don't do anything as well.
Yeah.
And the last one.
Couple of comments first. So Caroline said, this week I've exercised to improve my back pain and range of movement rather than to lose weight or change my body shape. It was a revelation. That's excellent.
It makes you why. That like feeds into why I am doing this, and it makes it stronger. It's more important to do it for pain, potentially.
Yeah. And Maddie's put, that's me massively with faffing. I think it's so I don't have to face the fear and not believing in myself. Okay. That's potentially, yes, the answer, the reason.
Nicola's made it loads of time on how she can put it off. Yeah, I do that. I'll look at that to-do list. I'm like, oh, that's a really big job. I'll do all this other stuff first. Nice.
Yeah, I think we need a new t-shirt slogan that says Chief Procrastinator or Chief Faffer.
Chief Faffer is the best one, yeah.
Chief Faffer.
Okay, and then the final reason that we have that New Year's resolutions fail is you don't have enough social support, or you have the wrong kind of social support. The people who say that they've got your back and then buy you. I don't know why I'm talking about weight loss, because weight loss feels like it's the most common New Year's resolution. That's not one we advocate at all, but it's a really easy one to give examples from, I think. So like, yeah, your partner who says they support you, well done, you're doing really well, and then buys you a family-sized bar of chocolate. It's recognizing that if your current support network isn't actually supporting you, get a new one. You don't have to cut people out, but you can fill your needs with new people who will support you and who do get what you're trying to do. And know that friends and family can hold us back because people don't like change. They don't like to witness change, because what that does is it holds up a mirror to them to say, look, I'm doing really well, you're not. That's not what you're intending to do. That's not why any of us go out to make a change, but it kind of does it by proxy. And that makes other people really uncomfortable with the fact that they're not kind of being as, I want to say strong to make their change, but I don't mean strong. They're not choosing to make a change, and you are, and that makes other people really, really uncomfortable. It brings out their insecurities, and they try to sabotage you, again, whether they consciously intend to or not. They do. And a lot of time you'll feel sad. My husband will be on a diet again, and he'll be like sad, and I'll be there like, if you just have some chocolate, I know you'll be happy, but only very temporarily. And I'd keep my mouth shut, but that's all I'm sat there thinking is, if you just have some, you'll be so much happier, rather than looking at the big picture of what he's trying to achieve and why he wants that. And it's not my issue that he's going through what he's choosing to go through right then. Yeah. So yeah, you can get support, join a club that fits the values you're trying to do, come into an online place like we've got, make friends with people that you want to be like. We talked about this last night. Surround yourself with people who are how you want to be.
Yeah. So that's even as simple as, you know, I've come across quite a number of situations with different women where they'll say, oh, my husband either takes the mickey out of me if I'm doing exercise, you know, or yeah, he comes home with bottles of wine or takeaways and all that. So well, have you asked him not to? No, he should know. He hasn't got a crystal ball. You know, actually, it's important that we say, here's how you can support me. Not just say, oh, you're not supporting me. It's to say, I really could do with your support, and here's how you can support me best. You know, that's a bit different, I think, to how maybe it does play out for a lot of people. So that's something that you could give a try. Kim says, this is defo me, constant pushback and ridicule. Ruth says, saving money, kind of target, then hubby goes and buys a new TV. Yeah, and Kim says, they say my new lifestyle change is unhealthy. They didn't batter an eyelid when I was downing a litre of vodka and eating kebabs for breakfast.
I'm willing to bet that that's because that made them comfortable, and that meant they could do it too.
Yeah.
You're not, it holds up that mirror to reflect on them that they're not making the changes, so they have to pull you down.
Actually, I remember a couple of years ago, actually, my husband, you know, we've both always been, you know, reasonably healthy in terms of, you know, how we look after our bodies and our size. But, you know, we do the typical, we put a bit of weight on in the winter, typically work on losing a few pounds in the spring kind of thing. But David he was training for a marathon. So it was the marathon training, but he ended up in super duper shape, right? And he looked amazing. And I was being really mean to him, you know, like, I can't even remember what I was saying, but on reflection, I was really jealous of what he'd achieved. And so I'd have sly little digs at him. So, like, you know, he wouldn't be eating rubbish and I'd go to get something I'd offer him. And he was like, no, I don't want that. I'd be like, oh, for God's sake, you won't even have one biscuit. What's wrong with you? Yeah. And it's really unhelpful.
Yeah. And it's a massive reflection on how you're feeling. Yeah.
No, I am human.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I wanted it too, really.
Yeah, but you didn't want to do the work.
So they are the. Oh no, I didn't want to do the work.
I'm going for way one.
So they are. You go for a way. The top 7 kind of reasons that new women, you know, New Year's resolutions fail for a lot of women. So it does sound like they resonated a lot with you. So let's flip that now and let's start to have a look at actually what does it take? Because here's the stuff. We've done the work, we've done the research to understand, you know, so for the people who are successful at making positive change, at having I'm not going to say successful in achieving their New Year's resolutions or successful in necessarily achieving their goals. What I'm talking about here is specifically women who have a happy, fulfilling and successful life. You know, when you look at their goals for those women, here's what they typically have in common. Notice it's quite a big list. So similarly, as Rox was asking you with the fails, which ones of those seem to resonate with you? I'd like you, this will form part of your homework today, actually. You're going to do a self-assessment on these. So you don't have to, you know, go right down deep in them, but have a little think, a top line think of how these sit with you. How well do you fare against some of these? So some of them won't be surprising given what we've talked about. Up there right at the top, women who achieve their goals, they absolutely have in common the fact that they know what they want and they know what they need. So they're super duper clear on that. Alongside of that, they absolutely believe that they always have a choice. Okay, we've talked a lot about choices. So if you find yourself in that situation where you're going, there's nothing I can do. I've just got no choice. I just have to get on with it. And I think you might notice yourself saying or thinking things like that more than you probably notice, is where you feel like you're a victim. Things are happening to you. I'm going to talk a little bit about that more in a moment. So they definitely always believe they have a choice. They also believe that they can achieve anything that they set their mind to. You know, so everything we talked about on last night's coaching call, particularly around the things that you can do to build your confidence, to work on your self-worth and your self-esteem, that's all of the groundwork and the foundations that help to set you up so that you believe that if I decide that I want to do something, of course, I believe that I can achieve it. I'm capable of it if I so choose. And that's a really empowering position to be in. So, you know, believing in the art of the possible and that you have the capability or the potential to become capable, I think that's just as important. You might not hold the skill set right now, but if you believe that you have the potential to develop that capability, then, you know, there's huge, huge power in some of that. Women who achieve their goals prioritize their own physical and emotional well-being. And I know that's something that many, many women, particularly, it's so heightened right now, find that very, very difficult to do. You know, and it's holding firm and fast on that. I know of some of you in your choices in the homework from workshop 1, we're talking around setting some personal boundaries. Now, when we talk about personal boundaries, they're personal boundaries that you set between you and other people that you have a relationship with, you know, to put a protective barrier maybe around some of the things that you require to maintain your physical and emotional well-being. Also, please don't overlook the fact that it's also about having some boundaries with yourself. Sometimes what often will trip us up is not having personal boundaries for ourselves. So, you know, when you will and will not cave over things, your discipline, your determination, your resilience, your grit, your tenacity about certain things, and all of those things that I've just described there, they fall under the umbrella of being more assertive. So developing your assertiveness can really help you with setting boundaries for yourself and other people so that you can consistently prioritize your physical and emotional well-being. Ruth's saying on the live chat role that these scare you. Really, you know, I'm interested in that, Ruth. What is it actually that's making these seem quite scary? That'd be that I'm really interested to, so that I can help you, but to understand a little bit more about that. Kate's also saying these relate so much more to an out than they did this time last year. Yay. This one is a big one, okay, is that they invest in their personal and professional development. So they're, investing in your growth, investing in getting better at learning new things. And that doesn't just mean about money, by the way. So yes, it does, that some of these things might cost to do them. And I encourage you to have a good old suck on a truth bomb with some of those things, because what I notice a lot about women is they're prepared to pay out money for some things that they don't get a good return on their investment out of, but are less likely to invest in others. So things like, this might sound quite tough, so just a little signpost. Women will very easily have their nails done, get their hair done, buy a new pair of shoes, a new lipstick, maybe some lotions and potions for their skin, maybe even, sign them off as self-care things. But when it comes to spending the equivalent amount on their capability, their development, the things that aspirationally would help them to feel happy, fulfilled, and successful, they're not prepared and not willing to make that choice. So I want you to ask yourself that question. But investment also means not just money, it means time, and it means energy, and it means effort. So will you invest time? Will you invest your energy? And will you invest some effort? And I come back to the point Roxy made earlier about society now being very instant gratification. We want things that are easy at the click of a button. If it requires a bit of effort, it's a bit like, but that's effort. That's what my kids say to me all the time. They'll come to me with a challenge and I'll say, but hey, how about, why don't you do this? Oh, but mum, that's effort. And I find that makes me distraught sometimes. The gratification and the sense of satisfaction and achievement is all the more when it has required you to contribute and invest a bit of effort. So think about that one when you were considering what you might want to do. You're going to speak.
Yeah, just part of that is a lot of the time for the instant gratification and buying the new shoes and buying the stuff is that you are trying to make yourself feel better. You're trying to fill some sort of hole because one of your needs isn't being met very well. Mm-hmm. But instead of kind of trying to repair the hole and make it better so you don't need to do that, you kind of stuff the hole with Amazon. Basically, like my online shopping through lockdown was ridiculous the first time because I was trying to kind of meet my needs by doing something instant gratification rather than working on my own personal development, which would take that need away. And it's looking at where you're placing your value on yourself.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right, Nicola.
This is it. Yeah.
This is it. Yeah. So, sorry, I do get on my soapbox a little bit about that one, but I'm not going to apologise for it, actually. So yes, moving on from that, they focus on their own goals rather than comparing themselves to others. We haven't touched on this yet this week. I'm super surprised this hasn't come up. We talked about judging and feeling judged.
Yeah.
Judging ourselves, feeling judged by other people and how we judge others. But we haven't talked about the comparisonitis. Media can exacerbate this. But it's not very healthy when you tend to compare your progress, your life, your situation with somebody else's. Because it's never like for like. You're not comparing apples with apples, especially when you're looking at people's Instagram highlights. You're looking at a trailer rather than the whole movie. You don't get to see all of that stuff. And do you know what? Even if you could see the whole thing, there is no inherent value in comparing yourself to somebody else. Even if you're a really competitive person, and you like to compete, and competition, motivates you. Because I've had people say that to me, oh yeah, but I'm really competitive, I'm motivated by competition. Great, compete against yourself and your previous performance. Better yourself against your last score. So if you want to compare to anything, compare against that. But if you feel sucked into comparing yourself to others, you're on a hiding to nowhere. So I really, really encourage you to let go of that. The best way to do that, remove those things from your feed. Put yourself a scoreboard together that helps you focus on your own performance.
Tracy, that's Tracy. It's even more amazing. She compares herself to what she's making up that other people are doing. She's just making it up.
Just making it up.
Not a level playing field, Trace.
I'll just come back to Ruth. So she's answered the question about what scares her, owning up. So owning up to some of these. It's the hardest bit though. So if you can kind of awkwardly and uncomfortably manage yourself through the scary bit of facing up to these, so that's the hard bit done. It really is.
And then we're literally telling you, do these things and you'll start achieving goals. So it's literally, right, what don't I do on here? How could I do that more?
Yeah. And actually, what I massively hope when you come to do your homework tonight or tomorrow, whenever you do it, what I massively hope is that you notice that there are some of these that you do better in than you thought you would on the face of them. Because there is as much value in noticing your strengths, acknowledging them, and maybe even building on them, doing a little bit more on them. So be conscious of that. Please don't just get sucked down the hole of what am I not very good at here. That's not helpful on its own. So yes, they surround themselves with the right people. No surprise there, given what we've been talking about. Go back to, if you weren't on the coaching call last night, we were talking about one of Jim Rohn's favourite quotes, is that you are the average of the 5 people you most surround yourself with. So if those 5 people aren't serving you, get them ditched, recruit some new people. It makes all the difference, doesn't it? It makes all the difference.
Hugely.
Yeah, Caroline's just commented, my self-image and self-worth is destroyed by me comparing myself to others. It even causes arguments in my relationship. That word destroyed is strong. That's really strong. I want you to want to change that massively. Yeah. And Ruth saying, I can achieve because I've achieved before and I should be proud of what I have done. You are. I am.
I can be.
Yeah. There's no should about it. There's no should that you should be proud. I think that's the biggest lesson, isn't it, for this boot camp?
It's always the biggest lesson, I think. Every time we do something, the whole must be get the pressure off and decide what you want rather than what you feel like you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Okay, last few on here then. They work for sustainable change, not quick wins or instant gratification. So off the back of one of the fails of marathon, not a sprint, absolutely, it's about sustainable change. So most things that we try and work on at this point in the year are about lifestyle changes. And lifestyle changes are often small things that make a big difference, not complete overhauls. All right, this is not 60-minute makeover. Your life isn't 60-minute makeover. It is absolutely, honestly, work on that principle. What small changes can I make that will make a big difference? I.e., do you know what? I'm going to drink more water. Okay, I'm going to drink minimum 2 litres a day. That's nice and specific. That is a really positive lifestyle change that is easily sustainable. Now, it doesn't change my life overnight, but within a couple of weeks, my skin will start to glow again. I'll have much more energy. It will naturally start to make me want to eat different things. I want to move more.
Yep.
That's what will happen.
Positive habits create positive ones. You are less likely to drink a thing of water and then go and get a bar of chocolate because you almost make yourself feel guilty for making a bad choice after you've made a good choice. Yeah.
I notice that all the time. I only need one healthy habit that has a knock-on effect for all of the others. Kim just put in asterisks, gets up for a glass of water.
Good girl. We'll wait.
Oh, so last couple, they look for solutions, not get stuck in the problem. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. And they have a deep sense of motivation. It's not superficial. And you might be thinking, why can't she spell superficial first and foremost? But after that, once you've got over that, is how do I do that? How do I get a deeper sense of motivation? Easy answer, work out your why. If you know your real deep why, that will give you the deep sense of motivation. And then biggest one, save the best to the last, they actually do something. Now, you might think, well, why are you saying it like that? It's because people get to the point where they are paralyzed by not knowing what to do, trying to do too many things, all those other expectations, all of the pressure from the masturbating. It gives you decision paralysis, where you end up doing zilch, nada, nothing.
Nope.
You know, and so that can be, well, that's just the ultimate worst place to be, is where you then can't take any action. So that's what underpins all of this, I think, is the ability to take some action. And I want to show you a way that you can do some of this stuff. Some of you might have come across this before. It might have looked a little bit different, but this is my staircase of accountability. I use this a lot in assertiveness training with different people. And so it's got 8 steps to this. And it's split in 2 halves. You'll notice there. The top half, the top steps, are when we behave accountably. They are accountable behaviours. And when we're in that space, we make stuff happen. Okay, so we call them the make shit happeners people. Yeah. However, the bottom 4 steps of this, if we spend time down here, we're playing the victim. Okay, these are victim behaviours. They're the people who fall off the horse and don't get back on. Okay, so this can make all of the difference. This is at mindset level often. So I'll say to you yesterday and the day before, it always all starts with mindset. If you have an accountable mindset, i.e., it's down to me to make stuff happen, not a why do things always happen to me, then you will start to see the difference. So if you find yourself sticking your head in the sand, so almost in denial, pretending that things don't exist, then know that my daughter's knocking on the window to be let in. No one's opened the back door today. I think my husband, Sadie, can you go and unlock the back door and let your sister in, please? Thank you.
Keeping it real. Slide,
yeah. So yeah, if you're sticking your head in the sand, pretending something's not happening, so let me know if any of these are you. Know that is you behaving unaccountably. You're not taking action. You're not making things happen. If you're somebody who always thinks, oh God, it's not my fault, well, you blame other people. It's not my fault. It's their fault that I can't do that. Well, we do it a lot without realizing. If you find you are blaming something or somebody else for the circumstances that you find yourself in, you're behaving unaccountably, things are happening to you, you're not making stuff happen. That's not taking action.
Yep.
Equally, so is excuses. So a classic one is the I haven't got time. If you're like, well, I haven't got time to do this, have I? That's an excuse. Whether you like it or not, it's an excuse. Yesterday's quote of Beyonce's got the same amount of minutes as the rest of us have. So it doesn't cut it and it isn't going to get you any. So this is almost like waiting and hoping, or we'll kind of just see what happens, or it'll all come out in a wash. It'll be fine. Unless we do something, no, it won't. because things don't change by wishing that they will. It's like when people go like this, oh, well, hopefully one day I'll win the lottery and it'll all just be all right. And I ask them a question, do you play? No. Right, so if you keep asking yourself, if I want to win the lottery, I have to be in it to win it. I have to buy a ticket, you know, so that applies to lots and lots of different situations in your life. So do any of those apply to you? Let me know if they do. Here's how to change it, right? So it doesn't matter which one of those 4 steps you typically land on. And by the way, we all find ourselves there. Nobody's superwoman and spends their whole life at the top of this suitcase. A suitcase, staircase. That's how desperate I am to go on holiday. I'm just like, suitcase, suitcase. Yeah, we all find ourselves occupying, sitting with our bottom lip out, sulking on one of these bottom steps. The trick is to have the self-awareness to notice that and then make a choice to move, okay? And the first move you do is to go to face reality. Acknowledge it. I am where I am. It is what it is. If that's it, was it Love Island that sparks that phrase? It is what it is. It is what it is. But facing and acknowledging reality is the most important part, is to go, okay, this is the reality that I find myself in, whatever that is. And you know, when Ruth was saying earlier that she finds it quite scary to owning up, it's that one step. That's the one step that's quite a gulpy moment that you're like, oh, this is me. This is down to me.
This is the step we try to pull our members to when we can see them exhibiting behaviour that's low down in the victim behaviour. The first thing we'll try to do is pull them up to face reality. Right, okay, so this is what you're telling me. This is where you're at. What should we do about it? And we try to pull them up to that face reality step. Becky. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So acknowledge reality. Once you've done that, the next step is to own it. So that means not blaming anybody else, not having any excuses. That is a mental shift that says it's down to me. If I want this situation to change, it is down to me and me only. Okay? Then when you're able to do that, it opens your mind up to possibility, to start thinking about solutions. So that's when you're coming up with options. You're like, what are the possible choices that I could make right now? I could do this, I could do that, I could do the other, I could possibly do that, all right? So finding solutions is coming up with the options. And then you have to pick one and do it, all right? And actually, here's what happens to a lot of people. They can get all the way up to find solutions and then they stop. They don't go any further.
Yeah.
All right. And then the only option is to fall back down. If you don't get to the top, you will gradually roll back down those stairs. So taking action is about choosing one of those options and saying, do you know what? That's the best option available to me at the minute. I'm going to do that one. And then you go and do it. So actually, who's this?
Tracy.
Tracy. She climbed the staircase this morning. She's found a solution and will be taking action this afternoon. You are at that. You're at that point now of you're at the tipping point. This goes one way or another at this point. Make sure you execute this afternoon.
And when you're choosing your solution, it's just pick one, because the longer you stay on the find solutions staircase there, the more likely you are to slip down. Once you have found your solutions, even if you don't know which one is the perfect one, do something.
You know, I always say I'll only ever regret the things I didn't do, never the things I did. As long as because actually choosing not to do anything is still choosing.
Absolutely.
And so it's about taking responsibility and accountability if you decide to do that.
Like if you find solutions and don't take action, you've kind of slid back to head in the sand because you're still not doing any of the things. You're no longer looking at it because you're not ready to go forwards. Yeah, Nicola, we all do. I jump straight down to not my fault when I'm being an arse. When I've had a mindset wobble or something shifted, I'll be like, oh, it's not my fault I've got all my kids at home now. It's not my fault. But that's not going to change anything. It's moving back to find solutions, get up at 5 a.m. Don't want to, not enjoyable. Yeah. It's the solution. Yeah.
So
Caroline, the finger crosser. Sorry.
Finger crosser with lots
Caroline,
of excuses.
The finger crosser with lots of excuses. It was going to start facing reality. I think my internet's dodgy.
Oh, is it? You're a little bit behind me.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you have it. Common New Year's resolution fails and how you can avoid them, and specifically looking at accountability to underpin how you can go about making some of those things, putting some of those things in place that successful women do, those that live a happy, fulfilling and successful life, that achieve their goals. Accountability underpins that big list.
Yeah.
Okay, quick recap then.
Oh, I think you've just done it, have you not?
Have I? Yeah.
I've literally just done it.
I have done that.
So what we've got coming up, so tomorrow night we've got our coaching clinic again at 7:30. If you didn't join us because you kind of didn't know how it'd add value, like we just said, we were so surprised how much came out of that. If you did submit a question or whatever, we answered everything that we could, and it was a laugh as well. Like a lot of women got a lot out of that. I think I put on the email, it blew our expectations away, the coaching clinic. So that's tomorrow night at 7:30. And then on Friday, we're back for the grand finale, the best session anyway. The most important one in a way, because you've got to tie all this together. You've got to figure out how to do it consistently. So we're back on Friday at 12:30 with the secret to designing the life you love, taking action and making it stick. We'll be doing the celebrations, the shout outs, and the what word do I want?
I don't know.
Celebration, shout out, prizes. Prizes. We'll be doing.
Prizes. Absolutely.
Yeah, so
that's it.
Be live if you can. There you go. I can like hear my own delay. So I've loved today. Yeah. Are there any questions that you want us to answer before we go? I know we ran over as always. If not, know that you can post them in the group at any point. I'm overlapping you again.
Oh yeah, we like that.
Yeah, you close. Yeah, you close. Okay.
So yes, feel free. If you have any questions at all, you can pop them in the comments now. I know you on Facebook, you're a couple of seconds behind us anyway, so I'm just going to hang on a minute or two to see if any of you type anything into the comments. But remember, you have got the opportunity to tap into the coaching clinic tomorrow night. As I mentioned on workshop 1, if you want to submit your question in advance, please do. You can go to the live stream page for tomorrow night's session and you can post your question into the chat role. Even while no one's there, it will let you submit your question. That means we can pick it up from there. Or you can DM us, send us a message on Facebook or Instagram, whatever you want. We'll pick them up from there if you've got questions. Couple of questions here about the homework. Is that Tracy?
Yeah.
Tracy, what's our homework? So your homework is some questions around accountability and also a self-assessment on the things that successful women have in common. And Nicola's asking, do we post our homework in the same way? Yeah, once you've done it, below this video, or if you put it in the group and tag, as long as we're tagged and you hashtag us, we will see it. Okay, so yeah, post your homework in exactly the same way.
You'll be getting an email at 2:00 with the links to the homework in, but they're already in the live broadcast one, so you could go over there and get them if you want, but the email's coming out at 2:00.
Yeah, on the live stream page, there's a button to download your workbook.
Caroline's put a comment in the live chat saying, does anyone else feel like there's now so much she needs to work on and feel a bit overwhelmed? You don't need to work on it, Caroline. You can choose that you want to. Well done, Ruth. Ruth pulled you up on that. Oh, I love this. But then Caroline said, not work from us, but areas in her life that she wants to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always, and this is the thing, is we talked about it's not a sprint. Pick the one thing that would help you improve the most at this point, and then build up from there. And something we do for our members in the club is when they join, we have we call it a pretty profile, and you kind of answer questions in the areas of your life and kind of see which is the area you're not doing so well in and which is the one you are, and it helps you to focus and decide on where you want to work first. It's a great way to kind of decide where to start, because you're absolutely right, we can always be working on loads of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who was this? Pam.
Absolutely.
Hi, Pam.
So sorry if you've had a bereavement in the family. That's a lot to take on. You've got plenty of time to catch up, so just do it in your own time, sweets.
Can. Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. So,
right.
We'll see you.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a wonderful day.
All right, ladies. Thanks for joining us. Bye. Bye.